today I'm with a very special person. He's widely known as think tank and troubleshooter of BJP. Yes, I'm talking about Mr. Arun Jaitley. Hello, Mr. Jaitley. How are you? I'll start with a very recent statement of yours, where you have clearly said that Government of India is actually attacking on federal structure. What exactly prompted you to say that?
Well, there are a huge number of examples. If you see the last 2-3 years, in area after area,
Right.
it appears that the government is no longer a respecter of federal polity.
Okay.
And you can obviously see the reaction. All the chief ministers are complaining, they are grouping up. Law and order is a state subject. The center has no powers.
Right.
One by one, they want to encroach upon the authority of the states on law and order. Now, whether it's proposed amendment to several legislations or giving investigative and arrest powers to an intelligence agency like the NCTC, these are several illustrations which are apparent. One of the principal objections on the Lokpal bill was that services of the state are to be dealt with by the state.
Okay.
And the Government of India wanted a central law to deal with services of the state. So the Lokayukt provision must be the central law rather than a state law.
Right.
Now, these are all cases where federal polity is being adversely affected.
Right.
States are aggrieved on the financial sharing of powers. In fact, the government has lost the confidence of the states to such an extent that even a reasonably good proposal like the GST is held up because the states are apprehensive of the center.
No,
that even in matters of revenue, the center may discriminate against them.
No, I would like to first ask about NCTC. I mean, fighting terrorism, you need to fight together. So what exactly is the problem? Why BJP ruled states are simply saying that no, NCTC.
I think your question is based on an incorrect premise.
Okay.
It's not BJP ruled states. Mamata Banerjee is not a BJP ruled state.
Any
Naveen Patnaik and Jayalalitha
yes,
are not
opposition
BJP.
ruled
So let's
state.
get the BJP obsession out first.
Okay. Okay.
It's most non-Congress states.
Okay.
Now, law and order is a state subject. You have intelligence agencies like the Investigative Bureau. You want to create a central pool of intelligence through either the intelligence grid or through the National Counter-Terrorism Center.
Right.
I have absolutely no difficulty if intelligence collection of cross-border terrorism and their modules is by this agency.
Right.
I am not opposed to the concept. Interstate intelligence, where there are interstate modules, obviously you will need a central agency. Technology upgradation, sharing it with states, you will need a central agency.
Right.
We have been more forthcoming in fighting terrorism rather than the soft policy of the Congress government. But when it actually comes on action, who has the power of investigation? Who has the power of arrest? Who has the power to make searches? No civilized society. The only exception is the KGB. And obviously, we don't want India to become a totalitarian state, where intelligence agencies do the investigation. They specialize in intelligence.
Right.
Now, this has to go to an investigative agency. Now, in this investigative agency, the power of arrest, the power of investigation, the power of searches, the states are aggrieved that in the name of fighting terrorism, you don't have to destroy federalism. The fight against terrorism and preservation of federalism will go on simultaneously. And therefore, while doing that, you must make sure that that power is conducted, as far as the states are concerned, by the state police. Now, in case it's a cross-border dimension or a interstate dimension,
Usually it happens in terrorism. It is actually
it can happen.
cross-border.
It
Yeah,
can happen.
cross-border, yeah.
And therefore, you want a central agency. You have the NIA. NIA has been created for that purpose. So why is the Home Minister and the Home Ministry obsessed with accumulation of power? That they want, when they already have the NIA, why do they want this power simultaneously to be in an intelligence agency? And therefore, the states have a legitimate apprehension And I think it's a workable solution possible. The center should not act as a big brother. The center must respect that in a sharing of power between the center and the state's powers and authority has to be respected.
I don't think that, you know, the Home Ministry or Government of India is obsessed to get that power.
We don't have to destroy the constitutional apparatus.
Right.
Mrs. Indira Gandhi tried it in the emergency.
Right.
National security, keeping the country together, democracy, and in the process you had a totalitarian state being created in India. We don't want to go back to that experiment. But constitutionalism has to be respected, and federalism is a part of the basic structure of the constitution. It has to be completely respected on that, and the part of the respect is that powers of the states will have to be respected.
But over here,
you will have to involve the states in a fight against terrorism. Now, what did the Home Minister say on the cases of Maoist violence? Oh, it's the primary duty of the states. We can only give you support. What happened to center fighting Maoism at that stage?
Right.
When the Congress party was disturbed about Mr. Chidambaram's front rank role on this, so he backtracked. So these can't be arguments of convenience. These arguments have to be to fight terrorism. You have the intelligence network, you want to strengthen it, please strengthen it. You have a central agency, NIA. You have the law and order powers with the state police. Within that framework, why can't you work? Why are you obsessed about dilution of the powers of the state and increasing your own jurisdiction?
On GST, I mean, if Government of India is trying to unify something where tax collection from the manufacturer end and the tax collection at the point of sales, if that will be unified, that will be better for the country.
Provided there is some substance in what you are saying.
Yeah.
But additionally, what you will need is to win over the confidence of the states. Initially, there were 1 or 2 states which had apprehensions. Now there are more. And the apprehensions have arisen because the center doesn't appear to be a respecter of federalism. Now, the states don't want a situation where the collection is done after a constitution amendment by central agencies, and then the states stand in queue with a begging bowl. Now, unless you can, there is some merit in the fact that you can have a centralized tax collection,
Right.
you can have evasion which is done away with, you have a single point collection,
Right.
you have it split between the center, the states, and also the local self bodies.
Right.
But to do that, you need to create an enormous amount of goodwill in the state. The centrally empowered committee of finance ministers is looking into it. I hope they are able to achieve it, but I think the finance minister, who's making a big effort to do that, will have to tell some of his colleagues, let us take 2 extra steps to restore the confidence of the state in our bona fides.
Okay.
Some states are apprehensive, and I see that being the principal reason why it's held up.
Right, well said. Actually, it's time to go for a break. After coming back, we'll talk about the internal issues of Bharatiya Janata Party with Mr. Arun Jaitley. Please stay tuned.